First up, we've got the original Super Smash Bros. This is on the N64, and I think it's gotta be A tier. Now, this is a game, to be clear, I've never played, but a lot of these I've watched a lot of, and the original Smash I have watched a lot. The thing is, I think it's hard to get into. The combos are very long, but it is fun to watch. By the end, I might move it around, we'll see. We'll see, depends on the other games. There's a lot of games here. A lot of weird ones like Brawlhalla Grand Slam. And at the end, we're gonna decide only one game can be put in the God tier. Next up is Multiversus. Now, what I wish I did, honestly, is split this into two. I think splitting this into two would be good, because Multiversus Beta and Multiversus Release are two different games. Completely different games. Multiversus Beta? Solid B tier. Fun game, has a lot of issues, but not nearly as many issues as Multiversus Release. This is a little bit biased, but I mean the whole list is biased. Multiverse Release made me so upset that I'm not even pronouncing the name correctly. They changed so much about the game. How it plays, how the KOs work, the movement, the combos, the balance. And then they pulled it, and then all the monetization and everything. Honestly, maybe I'm harsh. I feel like Multiversus Release is an F tier. You can't even play it anymore. It got pulled from the shelves. It's an online game that you can spend money on, and then all of a sudden you can't do it anymore. Like, what's going on? Yeah, beta was tough. Beta was tough. Beta was fun. Slap City is goofy, but still decent. I fully agree. I think Slap City, honestly, if you've put a good amount of time into Slap City, there's some depth here. I might be crazy for this. I think Slap City is A tier. The soundtrack is amazing. The character design feels really, really unique. I believe the same developers ended up working on Nick All-Star Brawl. I'll talk about that in a second. That is an interesting situation there. Rushdown Revolt. This is a game that I can't imagine a lot of you have played, and that's perhaps why it's in the current state it's in. This is a game where basically there was a game called Icons Arena, and let me talk about Icons Arena first. This was basically trying to make Smash Bros. Melee, but for PC, and I really did not like this game. Icons felt kind of hollow. The character design had some potential, but it felt like it just didn't, I don't know. I was like, I'd rather just play Melee. So Icons ended up dying. Then it got bought out, I think, by Rushdown Revolt developers, and all the assets were reused to make a game that was kind of psycho. It was like, imagine Smash, but every time you hit someone, you can cancel your combo and turn it into a later combo, and then just fly across the map with gigantic jumps. Like, it was really fun, and I think that puts it at a B tier. Now, unfortunately, it received a ton of balance changes that made it kind of whack, and then kind of died. That's sort of the case for all of these platform fighters you'll find, or at least 90% of them, is they end up just dying. Icons, I think, is probably the F. I just didn't think it had the sauce. I don't think it didn't feel special to me, and maybe I just like Melee too much. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Oh my god, I feel like Nick All-Stars is like potential the game. It was so close to being like really cool, and then I felt like it just didn't hit. Everything was like super broken. The way that the mechanics worked felt very flimsy is a bad word for it. It just felt like Slap City was better, and it was made by the same devs, like way better. I wouldn't say it's F tier. I think F tier is like, I don't want to play this. C tier is like, I could go for a game or two. What I'll say about it is it didn't really feel finished. It was very unbalanced. Even though it had a lot of heart, it didn't really feel finished. And instead of like finishing it with like voice lines and stuff like that, they released Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. This was the weird thing to me, is they came out with 2 like right after 1 came out. 2 was like a full price game, and if we go to Steam charts, it has 7 people on. Oh, it has the same number of people as the first one. It's very unfortunate. I felt like if they really went ham on the first game, it would have been a lot better, because both you had to pay for. Rico the GOAT. Shout out Rico. Shout out Rico. Super Smash Flash. Ooh, this is a classic. This is like you're playing in the school library. You don't have access to any games. You start some Super Smash Flash. Crazy game. I don't think I can put it any higher than C tier, but it is really cool. I mean, ultimately it's very limited. I just think Super Smash Flash 2 is so much better that I don't think it can go higher than C. And all right, we're getting to the big dogs now. Super Smash Bros. Melee. I mean, I just gotta say it, if you've played, it's just hard to put down. Easily the first S tier, and depending on how this list goes, it might be the only god. Melee is just such a beautiful experience to play. It's a personal hill that you have to climb. It's so responsive. It feels unresponsive, but that's because it doesn't have buffer. And once you get used to that, oh, it's just buttery. The amount of personal expression you can have in this game, incredible. Incredible. Stick Fight the game. I wouldn't say this is a platform fighter or Smash clone, but I suppose it's sort of in the platform fighter genre. This is just a very solid experience with friends. I think it's the epitome of a B tier. It's good, it's fun. You can't play it forever, but it's a goofy laugh game. I believe there's also mods that you can extend the playtime. It's fun. It's fun. Okay, Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla. That's what everyone's waiting for. Obviously, it's an A tier. I mean, we just have to talk about it. Obviously, it's an A tier. I know we're all, yeah, haha, F tier, F tier, F tier. Let's be real with ourselves. It's an obvious A tier. It might be the quintessential A tier. Okay, literally everyone is saying F. Make an extra tier for how low it should be. Let's be real with ourselves. We're all here originally because of Brawlhalla. It's free to play, it's accessible, it has updates, it has a community, its esports is crazy. I mean, Melee is just, comparing these two is crazy. It's crazy. But it's A tier. Mechanically, it's good. It has a very high skill ceiling and a pretty low skill floor. I think it's the type of game where if it had crazy, like tons of developers and a giant team and they really went ham over the past bunch of years, it could be S tier. But I think A tier is a very solid place for it. Online, accessible, every platform. You can run it on a lot of things, although FPS has been odd with the Flash engine. Very solid A tier. Brawlhalla Grand Slam, on the other hand, I imagine one person watching has played this. This is an F tier game. This might be the worst game on this list. Brawlhalla Grand Slam. Let me show you what Brawlhalla Grand Slam. This game is so cursed. This is like a Brawlhalla mobile game developed by a different team at Ubisoft. It's really laggy. You're playing against like bots all the time. This game is crazy looking. It's insanely pay to win. Like insanely pay to win. And the gameplay is jumping from platform to platform, predicting where people are gonna go, and different weapons have different attacks. Like Scythe has long range, Hammer does wall damage, Gauntlets do double damage. This game, if we're talking about slop, this feels like slop. I mean, did you see the frame rate? Might just be because I'm on PC, but this is a mobile game. You bounce off the bottom, and then like you just predict where people are gonna go. And I was kind of beast mode on it. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of beast mode. Like, check this out. Look at this prediction power that I have right here. I predict they're gonna jump on their head. This game I made for a video, and it was fun in the like 4 minutes that I was playing it. Yeah, this is F tier. This is F tier. I mean, compare that to like Smash, you know what I'm saying? Fraymakers. Okay. Fraymakers, I've never played Fraymakers. I've watched a decent amount of Fraymakers. It looks pretty fun. It's pretty fun to watch. The general consensus that I see is that it's very unfinished. Fraymakers feels very unfinished, and it's an indie dream where it's a bunch of different indie characters. Like this is Fish Bungeon from Slap City. I believe this is Downwell. The concept is really cool. The art is incredible here. Slay the Spire. There's assists with a ton of different indie characters. However, I just hear that there's not enough. There's not enough. Now, granted, I've never played it, and the modding scene is pretty cool. I think this has potential to be like an A tier game, maybe even an S tier game. But as it stands right now, I don't think I can put it higher than B. Maybe low B, high C. The guy from the hit game Among Us? Why did that get censored? That's crazy. Slap City I would recommend playing of all these games so far. Roof Rage. Roof Rage is interesting. This is a game I've played in a tournament very briefly. Roof Rage, I feel like is fine. There's not that much gameplay that I felt like I could draw from Roof Rage. You can see right here, it's a pixel art platform fighter. and there is some depth in it, but at least I felt like personally, I would rather play other ones. Like this was fun for a session, but it felt more like a party game with friends than a platform fighter I'd want to spend a lot of time into. But obviously it's cool, aesthetic and everything. All right, Kung Fu Panda. Another game I've never played. This is one I should play. I should definitely make a video where I play the Kung Fu Panda platform fighter. This game is so cursed, it's insane. Everyone is insanely broken. The art is a little questionable. The animations, the jumpiness of it, it's just so broken. You only spam like one move. Hilarious. Yeah, I'm sure a bunch of us watched this video from Big Garf. Very funny game. I gotta play this. I gotta play this. I'm such a big Kung Fu Panda fan, it's crazy. Very cursed game. I mean, if we're being real, this can't be like higher than C. It might be F tier. It might be F tier, but like a fun F tier. You know what I'm saying? You know what though? I feel like C tier in general is like, okay, this game is like broken, but it's fun. This is what all of these are. So I feel like this has got to be C tier. Bottom of C tier maybe. C is like you play it for a bit. You don't spend a lot of time on it though. You know what I mean? If I subscribe, will you put it in S? We taking bribes now? I could be open to this. Lethal League. To call this a platform fighter feels very not right, but it's a good game. Lethal League is, I wouldn't say it's a platform fighter. I think there's a sequel, Lethal League Blaze, that I haven't played, but the Lethal League game itself is pretty fun. I would put this in B. I think it can get a little stale is the only thing. Ooh, Project Plus, also known as Project M. Oh, this is an interesting game to rate. So basically, if you don't know, this is Brawl, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but modded to play like Melee. Now, I will say the balance in P Plus is pretty interesting. I think the game is a lot of fun. It has a lot of problems. And I think the main problems come from trying to make every character as good as Fox, but with toolkits that, when they're made good, are incredibly cheesy. At least that's how it feels for me. And I think this is a problem with a lot of, it even happens in Brawlhalla, where you have something that's fundamentally not as good as something else, and you buff it, which makes it really oppressive. And I think this is a problem that P Plus suffers from, but you play it with friends, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think P Plus is a solid A tier. It's funny because Melee is S, I just think it's not as good as Melee. Ooh, Brawlout. Is this a game that I need to show? Because this is a game that like doesn't exist. I think the best experience in anything Brawlout was, Jesus Christ. You're trying to bribe to get Kung Fu Panda up? I can't be bought. You know why? I know your secrets. This is a Prime sub. This is one you didn't pay for. Trying to bribe me with free things? It's like regifting. It's like you just regifted a gift. Brawlout is crazy. I think the best way to experience it is to watch this video from Alpharad, which is so funny. But basically, Brawlout is, I don't even know how to explain it. It's also like an indie game mashup, but the way the moves work, the animations, I can't load. My internet does. I'm telling you right now, I can't show you. The world does not want you to see Brawlout. It just doesn't really work well. You can see it doesn't really work well. It's definitely an F tier. Rivals 2, one of the most modern games on this list. This is an A tier game. I put it right up next to Brawlhalla probably. Rivals 2, also known as Rivals of Aether 2, is the 3D sequel to the pixel art game Rivals of Aether, which is also on this list coming up shortly. This game is sick. This game is very good. You think it's better than Kung Fu Panda? Yes, I do think Rivals 2 is better than Kung Fu Panda. Personally, I wouldn't put it above Brawlhalla. I think Rivals 2 hasn't been out long enough for me to put it above Brawlhalla. I think it suffers from a lot of the same things that many of these games do, like Rushdown, Slap City, where the casual experience isn't up there compared to, I think, other games that have had more time to develop that out, and it's like very, very competitive focused. That said, it's just really polished. It's really well done. I really like Rivals 2. I think it's, in a couple years, I think this game's gonna be so good. And while I'm at it, I might as well talk about Rivals 1 because this is our second S tier. Rivals of Aether 1 is such an insane game. Now, I think Rivals 2 is better by a lot of metrics. I think it's a lot easier to get into. I think it's a lot more clear what's happening on the screen. The mechanics, they're a little bit more accessible, I'd say, at least visually. But what Rivals 1 has that is honestly probably why Fraymakers is B tier is the craziest Steam Workshop you could imagine. The Steam Workshop is so insane that you're playing as Ronald McDonald versus Naruto. You can play as Thwomp. He has a laser beam, invuln frames. Like, the Rivals Workshop is crazy. And this is really the community supporting this game in a way that developers never could. I mean, it's just impossible, the level of user-generated content here. If there's any game I would say that has potential to overtake the historic juggernaut of Melee, it's Rivals of Aether 1. One of the modded characters bricks your game if he gets a stock. We gotta add that into Brawlhalla. But only if someone's playing Taros. Potential to overtake Melee, maybe Kung Fu Panda in my humble opinion. What is going on with this sensor? Why did it censor potential? Okay, we gotta adjust these parameters here. All right, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Perhaps the single most controversial game on this entire list. From a competitive standpoint, this game is like borked. Granted, a lot of the gameplay is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to be extremely broken. And there are some crazy tech that you can exhibit and try out. It's a random video. I'm clicking here. You can air camp forever. You're the only character in the game that like flies throughout the whole screen in a game where being in the air is bad. You can just shark like crazy. Your up B is insanely broken. Your like down smash, your down tilt, there's tripping, everything. Like chain grabs, like DDD chain, like ice climbers. This game is so insanely broken, but it's kind of special. It does have its charm from a competitive standpoint, that is. It's kind of a Stockholm syndrome, but still cool. I mean, like it's there's some issues. However, from a casual point of view, it's probably the best game on this list. I mean, it's insane. The Subspace Emissary is something like we will never see again. If you've never played it, I think it's worth playing. If you played it as a kid, the nostalgia probably hits like crazy. I think I'm putting Brawl right here. Me when no understand. Basically, everyone in that game is like slow and bad except for Meta Knight. Is a very oversimplified. And so like Meta Knight was played by everyone. And the top 8 is like 7 Meta Knight, 1 Ice Climbers. Big oversimplification, but yeah. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I've never played this, honestly. I've never watched it either. Jesus Christ. I wish I could rate this game. I know this is a very popular one. I've just never played it. You guys have to let me know. Unfortunately, I know a lot of you are going to be upset about this. I also have not played Shrek Super Slam. It's on my list. It's after Kung Fu Panda. I play these two. I'll review them. I'll let you know. But Shrek Super Slam, I haven't even watched any gameplay of this. So, sorry. Shrek Super Slam is peak pudding god tier. All right, this is temporary. Super Smash Bros. Crusade. This game is so cursed. Holy, it's like Smash Flash. This game is interesting. You know what? I actually have a video on it. It's interesting. You can play as Rayman. That's why I played it. There's Phoenix Wright in it. It's better than Smash Flash 1 for sure. I mean, like you summon like, it's like your final Smash. I don't think it's better than Smash Flash 2. This is the extent that I played it, basically. It's got some depth, like in terms of the casual items and everything. Yeah, it's not bad. Smash Bros. Crusade, I think, goes maybe like here. Temporary. This 9mm ain't gonna be temporary. It's staying in there. Ooh, Smash Bros. Wii U. Oh, this is gonna be controversial. Smash 4 is... Now that we have Ultimate, I think we can all accept that Smash 4 is messed up. This game's got a lot of issues. Running feels very awkward. Shields are so safe. Rage is crazy. The number of cheese knockouts. And the casual experience is so much worse than Brawl, which came before it. I might be crazy, but I think Smash 4 is like C tier. No, you know what? Okay, Smash 4 B tier, Smash 3DS C tier. Because Smash 3DS is just worse Smash Wii U. And you have to play Nintendo Online. Oh, how do you bully someone on Twitch? I feel like I'm a beginner and I need more tech. Why is this something you want to learn? I feel like there's a lot of things you could do with your time to increase your knowledge base, and this is not one that is helpful. Because I want Kung Fu Panda in a higher tier. Are you happy now? Shovel Knight Showdown. This is a very interesting game. I don't think it works very well. So Shovel Knight Showdown, I feel like has so much potential, but feels more like a Mario Party minigame than a platform fighter I would want to queue up and play with a bunch of people. Basically, you play as the Shovel Knight characters. Everyone has a different ability. You play with the maps, and it has a lot of love. It has a lot of heart that you'd expect from a Shovel Knight product, but it just doesn't feel the most engaging. I think this is like top of C tier. I'd put it like there. Now we're getting to a real good game. Super Smash Flash 2. This is such a hard game to rate. Smash Flash is iconic. In fact, this game has like a competitive scene. I'm struggling to put this A tier though, looking at what else is A tier. I think top of B is fair. Basically, it's Super Smash Flash where you can play it on PC in a web browser. And it's a Smash Bros. Like game. It's a lot more in-depth than the first one. They added grabs. The final smashes are pretty sick in this one. I mean, it's good. I just feel like I would not play it over these. I think this is where I put it. I mean, it's crazy to put Smash 4, like, okay. You know what I mean? It's not that bad. Duck Game. Ooh. A tier. Holy. The hardest thing about Duck Game is just to find people to play with because it costs money. But this game is so peak. Holy, yeah. Okay, why'd you say Duck Game? Basically, it's a game where you play as 2 ducks, or more, if you have more people. You pick up weapons throughout the map, use those weapons to hopefully knock each other out, earn some points. And you can quack. There's lots of different weapons. I just feel like this is a better stick fight. I think Duck Game is sick. I think it's some of the most fun you can have with like a group of friends in terms of like just launching a game and playing. Easy A tier. Easy A tier. Smash Ultimate. Ooh. Smash Ultimate has its host of issues, of course, but I think putting it anything other than S would be crazy. I mean, the game just has everything. It's also the most like, I'm in the library, let's play some Smash game possible because the Switch is such a goated console. Especially if you're around like casual people or people who aren't really gamers, with people who like never play games, and then you can split the Joy-Cons and you get 8 people playing. I mean, this is great. Of course, it has a competitive scene. It's more balanced than Smash 4. Steve is a little bit of a problem. Sonic's a little bit of a problem. But ultimately, no pun intended there, nothing, I think, on this entire list beats the moment where you looked at the screen and you saw everyone is here. You should play Brawlhalla on Joy-Cons. I'm good, actually. Because imagine, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have someone wall camping me with Scythe. My Joy-Con's going to drift. I'm going to get hit with a Scythe Nair from 3 characters away. I'm going to try to hit my button, but my hand is going to cramp mid-recovery, drop the Joy-Con, go to the hospital. Medical bills are through the roof. Medicaid just got cut. It's over. A few quick matches. Now, I have not played this yet, actually. This is the newest game to come out. This is going to be the last game that I rate, as I really haven't heard of any of the other ones except for Indie Pogo. I know Stick Figures is by the same dev. A few quick matches has kind of taken the scene by storm. It's, as the name implies, about just launching and playing some quick matches. Now, functionally, it seems quite similar to Rushdown Revolt. I know Pugsy, who is the best Rushdown Revolt player, has been really enjoying it. Personally, I have not played it yet, but I am planning on it. I did purchase it. So this is a TBD. From everything I've seen, I think B tier would be pretty solid. Maybe high C if there's not that much to offer, but it seems pretty user-friendly. And B tier is seemingly solid, but the most contentious here, because obviously this is very new. Now that we have the complete list, let's be real. Kung Fu Panda C tier, Shrek Super Slam I haven't played. Only one game can be God tier, and I think it just has to be Melee. I think it just has to be. Rivals is really close. The user-generated content is so good, but Melee is just crazy. And oh my god, the things that you can do with netplay, just playing with your friends, like you play against like level 9 CPUs, there's all-star mode. I know I was talking about lack of casual content in a lot of these, but playing Melee with items can be so fun. Here's my list. Let me know what you think. Honestly, it's not that controversial. Am I crazy? The most controversial one might be Brawl. God, I see why people make tier lists now. This is fun. I should do a roguelike tier list.